Alrighty. Hi, everybody. Quick social, not a whole lot going on. No, last week was the Super Bowl, so I didn't do like a full-on hour of conversation. And plus, I had a whole lot going on last week, and I still have a lot going on, but I'm managing it a little bit better now. So I just wanted to come on, and if anybody had any questions about the exam, about anything related to social work at all, and then I'll just give y'all an update on what's been going on with me. So while I'm waiting to see if anybody else is going to join, I'll just go ahead and start. Last week, like I said, I don't know if you all saw the video from last week, but I had a very drastic thing happen and I'm still going through it. So I don't have anything prepared, but I did want to come on and just answer any questions that people may have had. Last week at work, though, let's see, I didn't really get a whole lot done other than the normal caseload conversations and phone calls with my patients. So nothing really exciting happened last week as far as work goes. Still doing the Medicaid and Medicare training. Let's see what else. That's really it for last week. Let's see. I did answer some questions that were not answered on the previous Sunday socials streaming last week. But I do have some updates though. So live tutoring will start back very soon. I'm going to do it a little bit differently though. We'll probably do it in a group style setting. I am going to update the pre-recorded tutoring series, and there will be about 3 or 4 more videos added to that. And I'm just going to add those onto the, I think it's 10 videos that I already have. So those will be a continuous package of videos. So there will be 10, maybe 14 videos, and the price will stay the same. I might even lower the price for the videos. But what I'm looking to do is to have a 1 day a week study group for a lower price, because I think that the price is an issue for some people. I haven't decided exactly what that's going to be yet, but I will let y'all know. But the pre-recorded tutoring series is still on sale for just $150 for the 10 videos, which includes 5 sessions and 9 question sets with 106 questions. And I will be adding, like I said, 3 or 4 more question sets. So about 60 more questions that are more clinically based, because a lot of people last year wanted more clinically based content. And so I'll be doing some review in those pre-recorded videos on content and theories and that kind of thing. I'm continuing on with my supervision for my advanced license. So I'm about, let's see, I started in August, September, October, November, December, January, February, 6 months. So I'm 6 months in, so I have another 1.5 years before I can sit for my exam, my licensed independent social work clinical practice exam, which is the license that's the step above the master's license. So supervision, I go again next Saturday. Let's see what else. Oh, I started therapy. So I did find a therapist. My therapist is, let's see. What did I just press here? Something that I don't need. Did it stop? I don't know. Okay, so I found, okay, here it is. I'm sorry, I'm live, so I can't cut this out, but there's a video that's that I didn't mean to press. So, but anyway, I started therapy last week. I had my first.
Coming after him. At least I know I was.
Okay.
I thought he was my friend. No, really, no, I'm not saying anything bad about him. I'm not saying.
Okay. Sorry about that. So I started therapy last week. My therapist is online. I specifically wanted a Black male. And so that's what I found, a Black male online. And I also have a female therapist that I'm going to see this week in person. So I found my therapist online. I tried to use, I'm in a group called Black Girls in Social Work on Facebook. And there was a link in there that will guide you to therapists. And I found, so you may recall from a few videos back that I talked about this lady that I found and she wasn't responsive and that kind of thing. So I went online myself and I found a therapist in Columbia. It's a male. The first session that I had with him last week, it was just me talking about life and whatever it is that I have going on. And he did a lot of listening. I didn't mind it being online because I couldn't find anybody locally that met the criteria that I was looking for. So it was fine being online. He gave me homework. So let me tell y'all, okay, so he gave me homework, which was to write a letter. And so I kind of looked at him like, oh, this is typical counseling, social worky kind of stuff. Like he wants me to write a letter. And I'm like, so he kind of got the vibe and knew that I really wasn't feeling writing a letter. So he was like, well, you don't seem like you want to do it, or you seem hesitant. And I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to do it. And I started to even question if counseling was for me, for the situation that I'm going through right now. But I think it was kind of helpful. And so I meet with him again tomorrow, and I wrote the letter, and honestly, it was kind of therapeutic. I just got back home from being out of town, and I did go ahead, and I had been working on the letter throughout the week. So I had been writing like little notes and stuff that I wanted to put in the letter. And so when I just sat down to write the letter a few minutes ago, the notes that I had, I didn't really use all of those. I just went off the top of my head and I wrote the letter. And so he wants me to read the letter to him out loud in the session tomorrow. And I'm like, you know, when you start going through your baggage and your trauma and all that stuff, you might start crying. And I was like, well, I don't want to cry. And he was like, well, you know, I don't have anything to do with that. I want you to read the letter. So I think that therapy is going to be good. If anybody is going into therapy as a clinician, I would suggest that you get a therapist, even if you don't have anything going on in your life, because we all have a past and we all can, I guess for me, even though I didn't want to write the letter, I think it was good because now I know what the client feels like if you ask them to write, you know, a 10-year letter or a 5-year letter or whatever it is, or just a letter to a person who, you know, had some kind of an impact on your life in a negative way. So the letter was therapeutic, I'll admit. And I see how a client may feel being asked to write a letter when you feel like, you know, you might feel like it's crazy or it's dumb to write a letter, or you might feel like, how is this going to help me, or how is this going to make the situation better? But honestly, it was therapeutic, and I feel good right now. So tomorrow, I don't know what exactly I'm going to talk with the therapist about. And I got 2 therapists because I wanted a male and a female. So the female therapist is through my job. It's through my EAP. So I'm going to meet with her this week. And it will be interesting, I think, to see the different approaches they'll take on the situation that I'm going through right now, just to see the different perspectives from a male versus a female, and from online versus in person. So yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. This week is super busy for me. I have a lot of school meetings to go to with clients. I work with kids, as most of y'all probably already know. And I have about 3 or 4 new patients that I got last week. And so they have a lot of needs, and it's a lot of school meetings and doctor's visits with patients. And so that's what I'll be doing. Now, I don't know if anybody has any questions. Okay, I have the live chat on YouTube going. So, okay, so the last time I couldn't see people, now I see people. So I see Zena Jones, good evening. Demetrius Scott, hello. Okay, good. So glad y'all are here. Any questions or comments on anything related to social work, anything related to the exam, anything related to counseling? Are you a clinician? Are you a person that does therapy? Do you think that you would benefit from therapy? What questions or comments do you all have? And where are y'all from? Zena and Demetrius, if you're still there. So we'll wait for a few seconds. I hope everybody had a good weekend. I'm in school. I'm a school social worker, Detroit, Michigan. Okay. Demetrius. And I see a few other people here. I'm studying for the LMSW in Alabama. Okay, so do you have any questions about the exam? DBT, yes, school social worker. Okay. Have you taken the exam already, Zena? I've tutored some people in Alabama before. Some pretty cool people, actually. Yes. Okay. So do either of you have any questions about the exam? Medical social worker in Shreveport, Louisiana. Okay. All right. I'm a medical social worker too. I work with pediatric patients with type 1 diabetes and cognitive and developmental delays. And when you fail the exam by 10 points, depending on how many times you've taken the exam before, that pretty much tells me that you probably have a good handle on the exam. It's just something that is a little bit off as far as like maybe it's strategy that you haven't learned yet, or it could be content. It could be that, well, for some of it, it's just some stuff that we've never heard of on the exam. Like there's some stuff that we'll just never know because social work is so broad and you know, it's so many different categories and theories and people and all this stuff. So some of the stuff we just won't know because we've never come across it or we just don't know it. The other part, and I think the main part, is that people don't know how to take the exam. And that's where I come in with the tutoring. So I've had people all the time tell me, you know, they made all A's in grad school. They graduated at the top of their class, all this stuff. And I'm like, you know, that's great. But this exam is different because you can't just study content and then regurgitate it like we're used to in school. Like the exam, as you know, is mostly scenario based. A lot of community and school social work questions are on the exam from what I've been hearing for like the last year. So make sure that you remember to study school social work, community social work. I have a video on a good resource for studying community because community is so vague. Like I have tons of videos, but I don't have like a really good video on community social work because it's macro and it's not easy to teach community social work. Let's see. Yes. Remember the therapy intervention. Ethics is off. Do you have any study suggestions? Check out the website, Demetrius, daydaysocialwork.wix.com/social work. Missy Rain, I'm here too. I'm a medical social worker in Bloomington, Illinois, and I'm studying for LCSW. I passed my LSW in December. Congratulations. I failed my LCSW by 11 points. I feel it was the ethics section for me. Okay, yeah, so that ethics section, I always tell people, make sure you read the entire code of ethics all the way through at least once, because a lot of people don't read it because they say, I know how to be ethical. I know about HIPAA. I know not to disclose people's information. I know this, I know that. But the code of ethics is very specific, and it's an easy read. I didn't read the code of ethics for a long time because I was the same way. Like, I don't need to read this. I know how to be ethical. But when it comes to the exam, the code of ethics is the backdrop for everything. Like, there's specific wording in the code of ethics that you need to know for the exam. That's all I can really say for the ethics part, because it's so specific. You have to read it and study it, and also be able to apply it to scenarios. And that's the hard part. So with tutoring, we go through that, how to break stuff down and apply it using the code of ethics. Hey, I'm from Houston. I'm an oncology social worker. I watched all of your videos 2 years ago before my LMSW exam, and now I'm preparing for my LCSW in the next couple of months. Okay, good. That's Kristen Blackshear. I recall a lot of school social work dealing with scenarios of possible abuse and duty report. Ethics threw me off. Okay, so yeah, ethics is a very big part on both the LMSW and the LCSW exams. So make sure that you read the code of ethics, and if you want to talk through it, I guess I might end up doing, well, Myra and I did a session or a live a while back on the code of ethics. So you may be able to find that video, but, and we may even add an ethics video to the pre-recorded tutoring session. I have to talk with Myra about that. But yeah, so ethics is important, and I'm seeing the need for a video on that. So I'll make sure I put that on the to-do list. Possible abuse and duty report. So yeah, with the abuse and the mandatory reporting, those questions are very tricky because we automatically want to report because that's what we do in real life. And on the exam, you have to think as the perfect by the book social worker. So the things that you would do in real life aren't necessarily what you would do on the exam. And that's hard for a lot of people to kind of tweak their thinking from how they would do something in real life to how the perfect by the book social worker would do it, which none of us are the perfect by the book social workers. Like, we're just out in the field practicing every day. And, you know, we work by the code of ethics, but we also go off of discretion. But on the exam, when they give you these scenarios about somebody threatening to kill themselves, you have to look for things like, did they have a plan? Or, you know, was something in quotation marks that a person said? Did they say that they were joking, or did they say they were going to go and kill something? Like, you have to be able to break those questions down, pull out the relevant information, put it all back together, use the process of elimination to eliminate, hopefully, the two obviously wrong answers, and then choose from the two remaining answers. And the more you practice it, the more it becomes, you know, a little bit more easy. So that's what the tutoring is for. It's over 100 questions, breaking everything down, showing you what the relevant information is, putting it all back together, and using the process of elimination and coming up with the answer, hopefully the correct answer. So once you practice and you see how the test writer wants you to think, how they want you to approach these questions, the more you practice and understand it, the more you're able to get right. As far as material, now a lot of people, there are a lot of, you know, things out there for people to use as material to study. You have all kinds of different groups and programs and boot camps and all this other stuff. And that's great. It's great to have all these things to pull from, but try to limit the amount of places you pull from. Like the least amount, the better, I think. I always tell people, make sure you have a copy of the KSAs. Make sure you have a copy of the most recent, the most recent KSAs, the most recent Code of Ethics, because you know in 2018, the Code of Ethics changed and the KSAs changed. So they changed the name of indirect and direct practice to interventions with clients and client systems. And that section also weighs a little bit more than it used to in 2017. And what else? Oh, the Code of Ethics, they amended that. So they didn't take anything out, but they added stuff to make sure that we know how to practice in the modern age with social media, technology, video conferencing, and that kind of thing. So make sure you have the most recent copy of the Code of Ethics, the KSAs. And I always say have at least one comprehensive study guide. I always recommend the one by Dawn Apgar because that's the one that most people use. And I always tell people, try to take the exam on your own first before you pay for anything, because the exam itself, as you know, is a few $100s. Tutoring can be expensive depending on who you use or what you use. So, I mean, I always tell people, don't get tutored unless you actually need tutoring. Like, go and try it on your own first, unless you just feel like you need to have tutoring. But you can pass the exam on your own without anybody's help, without paying and all that other stuff. If you happen to need a tutor, then that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, because like I said, this exam is different. It's not where you can just study all this content and be able to go and regurgitate it back on the exam. Like, it's application. So you have to be able to break stuff down. This test is about strategy. You can know all the content that you want, but if you don't know how to take this exam, then you're more than likely not going to pass it. So you can be as smart as you want to be, all A's, 4.0, top of your class, all that stuff, and you may not pass it because you don't know how to take the exam. Or you may pass it because, I mean, I fell in all those categories and I passed it on the first try. I don't know how, honestly, because I did everything wrong. I studied every book, note, and everything I had from grad school, and it didn't really do much for me. But I did happen to pass it by about 14 points more than I needed. I'm struggling to find a person to supervise me for my LCSW hours. I'm studying just to keep myself afloat, but any suggestions on how to locate someone? I don't have any coworkers that can assist me. I also looked on tutoring websites, but the prices are too high, $150 a session. So yeah, as far as finding an LCSW supervisor, what state are you in? In South Carolina, where I'm from, there is a website or a license. It's LLR, Labor Licensing and Regulations, I think. So it's the Board of Licensing in the state. On the social work part, they have all of the people in the state that are licensed to provide supervision. So they have a list of people. So if your state has a website like that, I would look on that website and see if they have a list like that. I would also call to your state board and ask them if they don't have it on the website. But they should have a compilation of approved supervisors for your LCSW hours. Mine, I was going to get mine for free through my job, but the lady that was going to do mine, she quit. And I probably wasn't going to learn a whole lot from her anyway, because we were coworkers and kind of friendly with each other. So we probably would have been just talking about everything except social work kind of stuff. So I actually pay for my supervision hours. And I found my supervisor through a coworker who was also being supervised by him. So as far as tutoring, yeah, the prices are too high. And that's why I have stuff on special, because I mean, I get it. I'm a social worker too. I'm not in here trying to make money off y'all or anything like that. This is just something that I really enjoy doing because I love to see other people pass the exam and move forward, because that's what I wanted to do too. And that's what happened for me. So, but also you do have to invest in yourselves, of course. And I mean, just like me, I'm paying for my supervision hours when I probably could find somebody within the hospital system to do them for free. But I'm paying for the quality and the convenience, and it's an investment in myself. So I've spaced it out, and that's what you have to think of it as an investment. But I agree though, $150 for a session, to me, that's too much. My live one-on-one tutoring sessions are $65 for an hour and 15 minutes. And I'm not a stickler for, an hour and 15 minutes. Now we got to stop. Like, we're going to finish as much as we can before I have the next person. But like I said, in the beginning, I'm going to do something a little different because I want to be able to reach more people and also lower the price. So this year I'm looking to do a live study group session 1 day a week at a discounted price, which will be a lot lower than the $65. I just haven't put it all together yet because of all this stuff that I've been going through lately, but I'm getting it all together. And then also the entire pre-recorded tutoring series that I have is on special for $150 for 45 days access to the 106 questions as it stands right now. I'm adding to it 10 videos, 5 sessions, over 7 hours of content, and you get 45 days access. And that's on special for $150. And I'm probably not going to raise that price. If I do, it won't be by a whole lot because, that's for convenience. And I specifically made that pre-recorded tutoring series for people who don't really need their hand held, so to speak. It's for people who may have taken the exam and passed and failed it by 10 points or less, maybe a little bit over 10 points, but definitely not more than 15 points. Like, if you failed by more than 15 points, you need to have some more one-on-one attention, I think, because there are 170 questions on the exam. 20 of them don't count. I'm sorry, the LCSW supervisors on the tutoring websites were too high. Yeah, and yes. So yeah, some people, okay, that's what I don't get about some of our colleagues, because like, that you were in this position before where you had to get your supervision and your hours. So to charge somebody, and I don't know how long the sessions are though, but to charge somebody, well, are you saying that it's $150 a session or $150 an hour? Because I pay $30 an hour for mine, which that might be too high for some people too. But I compare that to others that I found who charge $85 an hour. So to pay $30 an hour is more doable for me, because to pay $85 an hour, I just don't see me doing that. So I honestly got a special, a lower rate at $30 an hour. And we do hours. I only go to supervision once a month. So we do 4 hours a month. And that's what, $120 for the 4 hours for the whole month. So, but yeah, if it's $150 an hour, and I've seen, like, I had a professor in grad school at USC. He was Dr. this, and he had all the letters behind his name and all this experience, all these jobs. And yeah, that's a lot. $150 for 1 hour. That's a lot. And I feel like our colleagues should be a little bit more sensitive to the fact of, knowing the steps that it takes to get to where you want to be as a licensed professional, to kind of work with people on those prices. Yeah, that is ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. So, and then like also, so what I was saying was the professor, he charged about the same rate, like about $100 and something for an hour. And I'm like, an hour goes by fast when you're paying that much for it. When you're at work, an hour might not go by so fast, but when you're paying money for something like a supervision session, like what is it? Is it structured? $30 an hour is good. I can definitely handle that. Yeah, I mean, you can budget that out hopefully for the month for 4 hours, but I would question what. And my supervisor told me that some of the other people that he supervised, they interviewed him and asked him a lot of questions about his experience and his knowledge and all that stuff. And you have every right to do that, especially if you're going to pay $150 an hour, because I mean, that's ridiculous. Check with the hospital, Misty Rain. So Adonica is saying that you should check with the hospital. Someone on your job should be licensed to assist you. Right. And then hopefully it'll be free. But yeah, I would always ask, like, because in my supervision sessions, it's not structured, like it's freestyle. And some people do better with structure. And I think that people may charge more if it is structured. Like my supervisor, he does, like, I take this to supervision every time I go, and I just add to it. And so he gave us a test, a clinical practice test, so that we could kind of gauge how we would score. And it's probably old, I don't know. But I've taken my resume to review with him. But the stuff that we talk about, normally it's a group session. I haven't done any individual sessions yet. But the stuff that we talk about is just stuff that happened during the week. We talk about, I asked him, like, how do I get my mind focused on being a therapist? Because I've been a case manager for my whole career. So I'm not really into therapy. So I've been trying to become more clinically minded versus case management minded. So he's given me books to read, and we talk about the cognitive process therapy and all these different books and audiobooks and tests and all this stuff. So it's really, it's a group session for the most part. Everybody is in a different realm of social work. So somebody works at hospice, somebody works at the hospital, somebody works at a mental health institution, different places. So we kind of just talk about what happened with patients, and we review cases, and it's just really laid back, and the 4 hours go by pretty quickly. But if I were going to pay more, I would want my supervisor to come prepared with stuff every single time, and I think that's why I'm okay with it being kind of freestyle, because I know that I'm getting a really good rate. And I also know that it works for me, because like I said, some people don't like not having structure. So some people need to have an itinerary, an agenda. So this week we're going to talk about this, and this. And then other people are fine with just whatever. Now, if it ever comes to the point where, I feel like my money is being wasted because we're just messing around talking about whatever, then I would have to say something about that. But I've learned a lot so far. I've been exposed to a lot of things I didn't know about. Tell me your website again, please. It's daytodaysocialwork.wix.com/my site. Let's see. Let me type it here. Let's see what else. There is one person that could help, but she will be leaving in a year and going on maternity leave in April. Okay, let's see if anybody has anything here on Facebook. Any questions? Questions, comments? So Social Work Month is coming up in March. Does your job do anything special for you? Is it Social Work Month or Social Work Week? I can't remember. Last year, my job gave us this little basket with like like tickets to a play and candy and sticky notes and all this stuff. It was cute. And now we have an actual social work supervisor. So this year she's going to do something special for us. So it's always good to be appreciated for the work that we do. Anything else? Oh, and also because of this platform, and I mean, this is YouTube and Facebook, but I have about, I think like 3,200 subscribers on the YouTube channel, or 3,100 or 3,200 or something like that. If you have anything that you want to promote, dealing with social work, of course, then let me know and I'll be glad to promote it for you, because we have colleagues subscribe to this channel all over the country and internationally as well, not like all over the globe, but I am aware of a couple people in different countries, 2 people in different countries. So it's growing. But you know, if you have any kind of consulting business, or if you do therapy, or you do life coaching, or whatever your skill is, if you have a company that you want to promote dealing with social work, just let me know. If you want to make a video, and I'll post it on the page so that the colleagues can see. I don't mind doing that. If you have any kind of materials or paraphernalia or anything that you want to promote, you can send it to me. I'll promote it on here as well. Just send me an email, and I'll put my email address in the description box in case you have anything. If you have a YouTube channel dealing with, I knew a lady that I tutored in New York a couple years back. She has a YouTube channel. She has a rare condition where she has to get new blood like every week, I think it was. And so she had a YouTube channel and she wanted me to share that. So if you have any kind of thing like that, unless it's something like, you know, not dealing with social work, of course, then just let me know. But I think that's it. I don't think anybody else has any questions. I will try to be more prepared next week. Hopefully I'll be getting through what I'm going through and I'll be more prepared next Sunday. So this week is Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day if you celebrate. And I'll see y'all next week. So this video will be up on YouTube and Facebook. So have a good night.